The push to get coronavirus vaccines into arms are turning into a blame game between the state and the White House. We look into what's really behind the shot shortage in a live report.
The House giving the Senate its marching orders for the second impeachment trial. What's next in the historic hearing? Ahead.
Major winter storms impact virtually every part of the country. I'm David Lee Miller in New York. The details coming up.
And 1 year ago today, we lost Kobe Bryant. We show you some of the many ways he's still being remembered and his life celebrated. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vanessa Borge.
And I'm Alex Diarno. 7 News at noon is straight ahead.
7 investigates a website parents need to know about. Tonight at 10. This is 7 News at noon.
7 News at noon begins with the struggle to get vaccine needles into arms. The White House wants more doses doled out, but the state says there's no more to give. The finger pointing over the vaccine distribution going from mayors to governors and all the way up to Washington, D.C.
All this as a new vaccination station opens up in Fort Lauderdale. That's where we find 7's Katrina Bush with more. Katrina?
And we're hearing from leaders on the national, state, and the local level about how the vaccine rollout is going here in Florida. This is the newest site that we are seeing in South Florida. We got an update from the mayor not too long ago. It's day one at a new vaccination site in Fort Lauderdale, the second in the city. A line of drivers weaving through Snyder Park, this site replacing Holiday Park.
It's a larger location, can vaccinate more people and room to expand as supply increases. We have a much better traffic flow.
The city mayor says Florida residents 65 and older and frontline care workers can request an appointment through the health department. He says right now they're able to do about 500 vaccines a day. They want to do more, but it all depends on supply.
We're all ready. We're set to go. We just need more product.
We're also hearing from the governor from Vero Beach Tuesday morning, once again addressing the supply shortage that has led to a bumpy COVID-19 vaccine rollout in Florida. He's responding to this message from the White House.
They've only distributed about 50% of the vaccines that they have been given in Florida. So clearly they have a good deal of the vaccine.
We're not going to divert second doses away from seniors. Seniors want it, we're going to do it. So if the implication is you should be giving those doses away to other people, that's not the way the FDA has prescribed it.
The governor says the state has the ability to administer more, but needs more first doses delivered to Florida from the federal government.
They send 500,000 first doses instead of 266. I can double the drive-through sites. I can give more to hospitals. I can expand Publix.
As vaccinations continue in the city of Miami, the mayor once again extending the state of emergency. And on a national level, Dr. Anthony Fauci addressing a timeline, what he calls open season, or the time when anyone who wants a vaccine can get one.
I've been saying that probably by the end of the summer, you could get everybody vaccinated. But the availability for people in any category will likely be by April.
So Mayor Trantalis did also address the long lines people have been dealing with in Fort Lauderdale. He said that's because they've been seeing a lot of people trying to cut in line, that they don't have an appointment or they don't qualify. It's the latest live in Fort Lauderdale. Katrina Bush, 7 News.
And President Biden signing a new rule into law that all passengers need to know about before taking flight. Starting today, all international travelers coming into the U.S. will need to show a negative COVID-19 test. It's part of an executive order signed by President Biden, making masks mandatory on all public transportation. And Congress continues to negotiate a new COVID relief bill. Currently, President Biden's proposal stands at nearly $2 trillion. That would include the additional $1,400 stimulus checks. Some senators say the price tag is way too high. The White House says they expect changes to be made before the final bill.
And you are looking live at our nation's capital, where the next step has been taken in the unprecedented second impeachment of a U.S. president. 7's Lorena Estrada upstairs in the Newsplex with what happens now. Lorena.
Well, Vanessa, the impeachment trial typically starts soon after the transmission of the article, but it was agreed the trial date would be delayed so senators can conduct other business like confirm President Biden's cabinet, and it allows more time for former President Trump's defense team to prepare for trial.
Today marks the agonizing anniversary of Kobe Bryant's tragic death. His daughter and 7 others also losing their lives after a helicopter crashed.
1 year later, the tough loss is still being felt by family, friends, and his fans. Here's 7's Diana Diaz.
Legends never die, and he's exactly that.
1 year ago, NBA legend Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others were tragically killed in a helicopter crash. They were on their way to Gianna's basketball game when the aircraft suddenly plunged into a California hillside. On the anniversary of the tragedy, family, friends, and fans coming together around the globe with memorials and loving tributes.
Oh, you know who I was rocking today. Come on, stop it.
And remembering the legacy he left behind both on and off the court.
Right, coming up next on 7 News at noon, bullets flying in Bal Harbor, landing a rapper in jail. Just one station with a look at some new video showing the shooting.
And a fire forcing a South Florida family from their home, possibly for good.
A child removed from a school because of something out of his control.
She just said that my son was the risk of giving the rest of the kids coronavirus because when he has his seizures, his face mask comes off.
If a child's face mask comes off while he's having a seizure, can he be kicked out of school for not wearing a mask? It's an unusual help me, Howard, to say the least.
In South Florida, temperatures already warming up into the 80s in Broward and Miami-Dade, 80 in Miami, 81 in Fort Lauderdale. More on the warm-up is coming up after the break.
The 7 News 19, South Florida's most watched late news.
A 10-year-old boy had a seizure in school and his mask came off. The result, he was kicked out of school for violating the mandatory mask policy.
Can the school do that? It's today's Help Me Howard with Patrick Frazier.
Justin is an amazing kid.
I'm a brave, giant, smart little boy.
Justin has to be brave because other kids think he's different and target him.
And they took him in a bathroom and they jumped him and he hit his head on the toilet.
A year after the attack, life got tougher for Justin when he started having seizures.
He was 9 years old and he had his first seizure. I can't even count how many seizures he has a month.
Justin's parents try to help him lead a normal life, but the seizures make it difficult.
My son wants to do karate, he wants to play football, he wants to do sports, but he can't do any of those because his seizures.
But the little guy can do one thing he loves, go to school.
I like going to school, I like learning, because y'all know if I don't learn, I'll be grown, and I'll be a grown man. I still won't have nothing in my head.
Then this year, he had a seizure in his Henry Mack classroom. The elder Justin rushed over.
The seizure was over. He was sitting in a chair. He gave me the fist bump that he was okay.
However, things were not okay. The father was told his son could no longer attend school.
She just said that my son was the risk of giving the rest of the kids coronavirus because when he has his seizures, his face mask comes off.
That's right. Justin was kicked out of school because his face mask came off when he had the seizure. The administration concluded that violated the mandatory mask policy and risked giving other kids in the class COVID. Ridiculous, his father says.
They're using the coronavirus as an excuse. They don't want to deal with the kids who have needs.
Justin was heartbroken because, like any 10-year-old, he has big dreams of what he's going to do when he grows up.
I want to be a police because a police helps people.
And now he needs help so he can go back to school to be with his friends.
I really miss y'all. One day, my mom put me back in the school. I really miss y'all so much.
Oh, that's so adorable. But Howard, can you kick a kid out of school because his mask comes off when he has a seizure?
This is stupid, and you don't have to be a lawyer to know this is illegal. The poor child had a seizure and his mask came off. Common sense tells you it was not intentional. Legally, if the district does not let them back in school, a judge will quickly straighten them out and could punish the district financially as well.
And it was straightened out quickly. Miami-Dade School District's chief spokesperson, Daisy Gonzalez, wrote, employees have been instructed to enforce the use of facial coverings. However, there are exceptions to our safety protocols, including emergency medical situations. Then she added, a thorough review has been conducted that resulted in disciplinary action against a school employee who unfortunately used poor judgment in handling this incident.
And my son went back to school the very next day. That's awesome.
It's what Justin wanted.
First day, when my friends saw me, they all was happy. They said, yay, Justin's back.
Justin has faced so many hurdles in life, finally a victory for him.
I was happy. I started dancing. I was like,
That mean how we're cool, right?
yep, they awesome.
Well, if a 10-year-old says we're awesome, I'm not going to argue with him. Enjoy school, Justin, and keep dreaming about being a police officer, and one day you will be one. Some nonsense making no sense to you? Ready for some common sense? Let us school them, because we charge no cents or dollars. We're free. With this, help me, Howard and Patrick Frazier, 7 News.
All right, and social media really steps up next on 7 News at noon. We start with Twitter calling on subscribers to become bird watchers. They say this will make them a better platform. We're going to show you how next.
And Instagram launching some better business ideas we can all benefit from.
Tonight on 7 News at 10.
It's a website inviting users to talk to strangers. And during the isolation of the pandemic, children are logging on.
I walked into my daughter's room and she told me she was doing her homework and she closed the lid on her laptop. What I saw on the website was sickening.
What parents need to know.
These websites are really becoming a concern for law enforcement.
7 investigates tonight on 7 News at 10.
Trying to look up the history of dogs and cats in the White House. There's been a lot of them, and I don't have time to look up Google right now, but you can Google it.
But that is the first rescued dog.
Yes, it is.
So we know that for a fact.
And go give your dogs a kiss when you get home.
Oh, they're waiting. Coco and Coda, they're anxiously waiting. So we got to go, okay? We'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm Alex DeArmas.
I'm Vanessa Forge, mornings at 4. We'll see you dark and early tomorrow. Have a good one.
Forecasts and live radar. Tap the 7 Weather app. It's free. Just search WSVN in your app store. Powered by Estrella Insurance.